Friday, the final day of the week. These are the voyages of the program Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Its ongoing mission: to explore strange new movies, to seek out new bits and new edifications, to boldly go where no radio program has gone before. Elkant's Movie Club. It's Elkant's Movie Club. Elkant's Movie Club. It's Elkant's Movie Club.
Oh, it's good to see our friend again. It's been so long, Elkant. Welcome onto the Lincoln Journal Star, doffing the fedora and the Hawaiian shirt. Happy 4th of July weekend, my friend.
Absolutely. It's the great holiday for me. This is my favorite holiday.
Why is that? Is it because of the fireworks?
Just the whole thing, you know. I mean, I like the summer, the celebration of the country. I'm a pretty patriotic kind of guy, so I think that really makes it. And it's just fun, no pressure, you know.
That is true.
Do you think that we should move Independence Day to the first Friday of July every year?
Stop.
No.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh.
It's on the document.
Independence Day
July
and Christmas.
4th.
Put them on Fridays every year. That's my
July
take.
4th, 1776.
Thank
It is
you.
funny. This is the one holiday, if I remember right, that we refer to by two names, Independence Day and the 4th of July. We don't say like, oh, I'm celebrating the 25th of Christmas today. We say or the 25th of December. We say Christmas.
Right.
We don't say, hey, I'm celebrating the 14th of February. We say, I'm wasting a lot of money on stupid things. You know, like.
Fair point, I guess. Is your neighborhood as psychotic as my neighborhood when it comes to fireworks? How bad's your neighborhood?
Not too bad, and largely because I have a park a block away. So
that helps.
That helps. I have a golf course across. I live like at 34th and just south of South, John.
Okay.
So I live right next to the Chet Ager and to Antelope Park. So I only have one group of people east of me to worry about. So
yeah, and
not too bad.
And you got the zoo that's kind of close by, so it kind of keeps quiet. Unfortunately, the war zone's starting soon, which means I'm gonna have to drug my dog, and I don't like that. And
What do you? Marijuana?
No, I'm not gonna give my dog marijuana.
Just making sure.
I'm in the basement right now with the crazy cat on my lap, but he'll be down here locked in the basement those next couple days anyway. It's just too noisy.
Yeah, I know. I feel for all the little ones.
Look like a battle zone after midnight on the 4th around here, like it does in some places.
Yeah, it does. And that's the other thing is the cleanup afterwards.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I have two
the
boys
worst.
that just think fireworks are the greatest thing ever. So, boys will be
So
boys.
did I.
I know. We used to build models, right?
Mm-hmm.
Car when that was still a thing, just so we could blow them up. We'd literally glue it all together, and then we'd stick it on the end of the driveway.
That stuff took a long time, didn't it, to put together?
Oh, we got pretty good at putting them together real fast. And then if we had, like, old toys, I had an old model of the space shuttle, blew that to smithereens.
In real bad taste, dude.
It was, listen, we were a dangerous lot.
Mm-hmm. Gen X garbage.
There may have been gasoline involved in this, too.
Oh, my goodness,
Just saying,
John.
There may have been gasoline.
Good Lord. You're lucky you're here.
I know.
John, you know what that sounded like back then? Electric. And with that, let's talk about the Green Mile.
Hey, nice transition there. As we
Was that in poor taste? I'm sorry.
Yes, the Green Mile is the movie that I selected 3 weeks ago.
A long time, yeah.
Long time ago. The thing I didn't realize,
and you've never seen
and
this,
I'd never
right?
seen the Green Mile.
I'd seen bits and pieces, never watched it front to back.
The thing I didn't realize initially is that
it was 3 hours long.
Well, yeah, I did know that, which is why I picked it, because I knew we'd have extra time to watch it. But it's based on a Stephen King novel, similar to Shawshank.
Same director.
And then Frank Darabont, who directed Shawshank, also directed this.
And did you notice at one point the music's playing? I was like, wow, this song sounds exactly like a song or score, that was in Shawshank. Looked it up. Same guy who scored Shawshank scored this as well. I thought it sounded very similar in that regard.
And of course,
absolutely, Darabont made this right after Shawshank, so it's pretty much the whole same production people that did the whole thing.
And so, and just naturally, you're going to make those comparisons anyway, because the movies were made relatively close to each other, as you said. They're both set in a
prison.
In prison, they're both set in either the World War II or Depression era.
Yeah, so this is earlier than Shawshank.
Yeah, it's about 10 years or so earlier than Shawshank. At least when Shawshank begins. Obviously,
that lasts
we
a
go
lot
through
longer.
time with that movie. So naturally, you're going to get a lot of comparisons between the two, even though the storylines are very much different. Mm-hmm. But that was the first thing that hit me was, man, I feel like this is Shawshank again. And then I did a little dive, and it was like, oh, yeah, of course, all these things connect the dots. And so you wonder if that movie escapes the shadow of that movie. I think commercially,
if 3 Mile escapes Shawshank?
Yeah, I think commercially, didn't it do a lot better, Kent? Because Shawshank, I thought, kind of
more of a cult VHS classic.
Yeah, obviously it got some award nominations, but
theater-wise,
but it really didn't catch on until after it left the theaters, right?
That's right. And in part, the reason that this one did better is it was the follow-up to Shawshank, which some people had figured out was a really good movie. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they went to it because of that. But also this one had genuine movie star Tom Hanks as the star, where Shawshank at that time, Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins were really good actors, but not close to being a, quote, movie star.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is what helped get the Green Mile its audience, because that was back. Remember that this came out, 93?
The Green Mile or Shawshank?
Green Mile.
No,
Green Mile was
99.
99,
okay. But there was still a movie star movie era.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right now, there aren't really movie star movies, right? The movies are, people go to the movies for the Marvel universe or the technical thing or the action or whatever. But very few movie stars open movies now. Back then, a star like Hanks opened a movie. People went to see it because it was a Tom Hanks movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other thing, too, going on with the Shawshank comparison for just another moment, Kent, I thought that in a way it was like the opposite side of the same coin, where Shawshank, a lot of the guards are bad people. In this one, I mean, really,
the guards are the good guys, with the exception of one.
Percy. Percy is horrible, and then there is the other prisoner. Otherwise, like, everyone in this movie is essentially a good person. I know that people are in jail for, horrible crimes, but they have, like, redeeming qualities.
Right, even Dell, who is one of the prisoners who adopts the mouse, seems like you almost feel bad for them
when
they go to the chair.
Yeah.
Because all we know of them as are these, characters in this prison, but we don't know why they were there.
And then you have, like,
which is part of the design. That's part of Stephen King's design.
Yeah.
And part of the screenwriter's design is to make these people be, I'm not going to say more innocent, but you don't know that background, so you're not judging what happens to them on, they committed 6 murders. You're just seeing this person that seems like a decent guy that's going to get executed.
Which is the same.
That was by design.
Which is the same as Shawshank.
Yeah.
Brooks, the very kindly old, librarian. You're trying to figure out what the heck
he's
he
a
did.
lifer. He's been in there.
He's been in there forever.
You can't imagine him doing something bad.
Red, he did something awful, but he's like
only guilty man in Shawshank.
He's like the social conscious of the prison. And Tim Robbins' character, of course, is innocent.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. So, yeah, it is kind of interesting that we get dropped into this universe and the bad guys are actually good.
And along those lines, too, like this one I thought was a lot smaller in scope. Shawshank is a huge, sprawling prison, big, sprawling cast, and you just kind of hit on it a couple minutes ago, John. It takes place over like 20 years. Like a lot of time passes. This one, I don't think it ever really said how much time passes, but much smaller prison, much fewer guards, and obviously not a whole lot of prisoners themselves. And I guess I didn't realize, Kent, going in, I thought Michael Clark Duncan was going to be, not Andy and Red, but that it was going to be him and Hanks like the majority of this movie. There are long stretches where he either doesn't say anything, he's not involved, or he'll just say a couple of words and then they'll go right back to what else was happening in the prison at that time, or even away from the prison.
And hence one of the criticisms of the movie, that it is too long and sort of loses that focus that you're talking about, right? By going here and there and having these long interludes, which I went back and found my old review, and that was my criticism of the movie back then. And watching it again, it's still the same one. It just is a little, it could be more focused, I guess you could say. But once again, I think that was obviously Darabont stretched out this short story as far as you could stretch it out to relatively good effect, I think. But some of the things, a little too much interlude between, especially the Michael Clark Duncan character. You kind of lost him a few times.
Right.
And the other issue is it kind of goes from execution to execution to execution. And so it doesn't have a big plot, up, down, dramatic points so much. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was interesting. I was having a conversation with somebody today, Kent. By the end of the movie, every character agrees that Michael Clark Duncan did not do anything bad, that he is innocent. And so, I'm watching this movie and I want to yell at the screen, just stop this. And I thought my friend brought up a really interesting point, set in the 30s, obviously the character that they're going to put to death at the end is an African-American character, and it's what more could they do in the 30s? And that there was a point to the way that King wrote it, and that they made this movie of in a way, even people who were good and had good intentions were kind of helpless with the racial component of the era, if that makes sense.
Precisely. And with the lack of appeal and reconsideration of death penalty cases.
Yeah.
Which really didn't happen then. That didn't happen until later, right? And so those were, I believe, the three main issues that King was trying to push out. He's clearly anti-death penalty, but also the racial component and the injustice in the system. And that all comes through, but they don't beat you over the head with it.
Yeah.
I almost wonder because when I even looked at the time when it happened, when Tom Hanks, after his character feels the touch and finds out that, this guy's got some supernatural powers.
I'm going to guess, is that barely over halfway in?
That's not even halfway. That's a third of the way in.
Wow. Yeah. That's an hour in.
Like an hour in.
Wow.
And then he goes home. He goes to his attorney, to Michael Clark Duncan's attorney, who's played by Gary Sinise, just a small role.
Yeah.
One of his first major roles in a big picture.
And goes to him and he uses the analogy of the dog. You love the dog, but you never know when the dog's going to bite. And he uses his son as an example because his son got attacked by the dog. And basically, this is the man's attorney.
Yeah, and he's saying that he's comparing a dog to a black person. It wasn't a guilty person. Yeah.
Exactly. I almost wonder if the movie or the story would have been better served if the rest of it would have been more Tom Hanks trying to convince society or convince the legal system that this is an innocent man and needs to be saved, versus just kind of the shrug his shoulders and say, well, there's nothing, there's not much I can do about this.
He's magical.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course they go about, healing the warden's wife and all this other stuff. But I guess to me, that was the one place where I thought the movie was going to go. I mean, it's literally a third of the way through the movie. Yeah. And you see Hanks is starting to look into this guy's past and figure out what's the deal here.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of abruptly stops, and it's like, well, he's on death row, and so
nothing we can do.
That's it.
Yeah.
And when you get to the end, and everybody has figured out that he didn't do it, and still nobody does anything about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just Hanks. By the last, I don't know, 30 minutes, everybody knows.
Yeah, even the warden.
The warden obviously
the
knows.
Warden, everybody, and so that and that's kind of it wasn't a criticism that I noted particularly when I wrote it, but when you read about the movie, that's one of the other criticisms that people have of it. It's kind of defies credulity that if all these people knew the guy was innocent, including the warden, they could have probably stopped the execution.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I guess the one, I don't know if saving grace is the right word, but I guess the just rewards or the just punishment
for the Hanks character
is that because the movie is a donut around Hanks's character in a retirement home many years later, and then it ends with that, and basically, spoiler alert, but I mean it's a 20-year-old movie. Yeah. He because he had this connection with Michael Clark Duncan's character, John Coffey. Mm-hmm. I don't spell it like the drink. Is that because he had the connection, he has
extended life.
So he's actually well into his 100s.
Yeah, and everyone's dying.
And everyone around him's dying. And
so is the mouse.
And the mouse is still
Good
alive.
job with the mouse prosthetics, by the way. The mouse looked old.
Yeah.
At the very end.
But I guess at least to me, that gave the story arc a proper perspective, because at least it was, well, here's your penance for not saving this man.
You got to think about this.
You're going to have to think about this a lot longer, and I'm guessing not a day goes by he doesn't think about it.
Yeah.
And realize, hey, this was a special person that I could have saved.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I said earlier, I'd never seen this movie. I remember when it came out because a lot of people loved it.
Yes.
And so I was going in yesterday when I watched it like, okay, I'm about to sit down and watch a classic movie. And now, when I finished it, I thought, well, I understand why I don't really see anybody bring up The Green Mile anymore. Because, I mean, it's good, but it has a lot of flaws. And maybe it's unfair for me to keep comparing it to Shawshank, but that's my favorite movie. And it has so many similarities that it's hard not to. And it's like, well, that's not Shawshank.
Well, especially because they were made essentially back to back.
Right.
It's not Shawshank.
No.
Okay. It's just not.
No.
So,
yeah.
But it's a decent movie.
Sure.
It could have been 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yes.
And accomplished the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
One more quick thing, Kat. This is now, I think, the third Stephen King, based book that we've watched. It's a movie. We watched Misery. We watched Shawshank, and now The Green Mile.
I thought we had another one in there too.
All right. Well, if we have another one, is Percy like the worst villain that he ever wrote? And I know that the Kathy Bates character in Misery is a horrible person. But man, I cannot stand Percy. What a piece of garbage.
Yeah, he's evil.
Yeah.
Just plain evil.
Like, no redeeming qualities. At least she was funny sometimes.
Yeah.
Percy had nothing redeeming about him.
Yeah. And well acted by whoever that was.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I
looked him up. I was like, I don't remember this guy.
He looks very familiar.
I like the guard. The second guard, was that Brutus? David Morse?
David Morse. He's a really great actor.
Yeah, I don't really see him in anything anymore. Oh, Treme, that's where I recognized him from. That guy is I don't know, he was in a lot of those like 90s movies, and so this is like a who's who of 90s guys.
He's got to be in his late 60s now.
He's
is older.
67, yep. He'll be 68 this year.
The guy who plays Percy is an actor by the name of Doug Hutchison. He was in X-Files. He was in
I can see him in X-Files.
Chocolate War.
I don't know what that is.
But when I read his bio, I'm like, it's almost like they typecast him, because apparently 10 years ago, when he was 51 years old, he married a 16-year-old.
Oh,
yeah, and surprisingly, they divorced last year.
Well, at least she's in her 20s.
Yeah, exactly. So as soon as I read that, it's almost like they went out and intentionally found a guy who's
gross,
kind of
nasty. Yeah,
nasty.
So that is the Green Mile.
Mm-hmm.
It's your turn.
I got a movie. It's a new movie. It literally just came out, directed by Steven Soderbergh.
Ooh.
It is called No Sudden Move. It's a heist movie, and it's Nick, and it is available on HBO Max. I will tweet out the link momentarily.
Isn't he the one behind the new? He's the one behind all the Oceans.
Soderbergh? Yes.
Yes.
So he's become the heist movie guy.
Great cast: Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, John Hamm, Ray Liotta, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot more intense than those Oceans movies.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not 4 hours. 2 hours long. It's in 4K is what the website said. I was like 4. Not 4 hours. 2 hours long.
Okay.
Hour
this
55.
Be interesting.
I'll tweet out the link momentarily.
All
HBO
right.
Max.
What's it called again?
No Sudden Move.
No Sudden Moves.
Yeah.
Kent, did you see the trailer for The Many Saints of Newark?
I have not.
It's the Sopranos prequel.
I know what it is. I haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah, there is a trailer out. If you check, I think you can find it on YouTube. That will be coming out this fall, and that is definitely getting picked in the movie.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to be watching that bad boy. But
so I have one I want to bring up that just opened today.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's in theaters and also on Hulu. It is a fabulous documentary. It's called Summer of Soul.
I just saw a commercial for this.
Yeah.
Put together by Questlove. And what it is, in 1969,
nice.
At the same time Woodstock was going on and guys walking on the moon, there was something called the Harlem Cultural Festival. 6 Sundays in a row, they had concerts in a park in Harlem that drew 30 to 40,000 people a week. Whew. And each concert had a different theme. And they filmed it, and then this film disappeared, sat in a vault for 50 years because nobody wanted to put the movie out. Questlove made this documentary, and it is unbelievably good, both because of the music performance, but also how it frames it in the time in Black America, for the lack of
sure
a better way to put it. And in the movie, Al Sharpton says that 1969 was the year that Negro became Black. The change in the culture, right? And that really comes through. But you also, there are these little interstitial moments about the drug problems, the crime problem, the whatever, and then you have music that corresponds to it, and some of the performances are just literally jaw-dropping, including in the first opening before the title even comes up. It starts with Stevie Wonder and he's singing and playing the keyboards. Somebody leads him back to the drums and then he just tears it up playing the drums. That's the very first thing in the movie. And there is a scene in which Mavis Staples, who was 30 at the time, and Mahalia Jackson, the queen of gospel music, sing Take My Hand, Precious Lord, which was Martin Luther King's favorite song, right after Jesse Jackson is spoken. And he was there. This is a year after King was assassinated. Yep. And it is transcendent. It's one of the great performances you'll ever see. I couldn't recommend a movie more highly. I give grades, A to F.
Yeah.
I gave this one an A+.
Wow.
And it's on Hulu, and what's it called again?
Summer of Soul.
Summer of
It's
Soul.
on Hulu, but it's also in theaters.
Okay. I just saw an advertisement for it today, watching a Hulu show, and I saw this had come out. So you can see it there, but you can. Which theaters is it running in? Is it running in the The smaller theaters or the
No, it depends on the city. Here in Lincoln, it's playing at the Ross, but I'm pretty sure in Omaha it's at a couple of the Marcus.
It looks like it's at the Majestic.
Yeah,
it's at
that's a
Westroads, and it's also over by us here at the Dundee at Film Streams.
All right.
Yeah.
Summer of Soul.
It is great.
Okay.
Awesome.
An A+. You don't get that. When's the last A+ you gave out?
Probably been 2 or 3 years.
Dang.
What movie was that?
Parasite. Was it Parasite?
Parasite got, yeah, it actually was. It was Parasite.
John would hate it because he'd have to read subtitles. I've kicked around the idea of picking that for the movie club. It's one of my favorite movies of the last 5 years.
It's absolute greatness.
It is so good and so funny. All right.
So
I'm sure it reads great.
Oh, it does, John. It does.
All right. Well, there you go. We've got our movie pick for next week.
No sudden move.
But check Summer of Soul.
Yeah.
Either at the theater or on Hulu.
Awesome.
You have Hulu. I look forward to that. That's good. I need another thing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to check it out. If Kent says it's that good, it must be that good.
It's that good. And then you can watch a little NBA tomorrow night.
There you go, John. Summer of Soul, some NBA. What a weekend. It's your birthday on Sunday?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
You'll be 50?
Yeah.
Dang.
Party on, Garth.
Party on.
Party on, Garth. Yeah. All right, Kent. Well, have a great weekend. Don't blow any fingers off, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great.
There
See you
it
next
is.
week.
Later,
Bye.
Kent.
Kent Wolgamott of the Lincoln Journal-Star. When we come back, we're closing in on One Beer Friday.
Let's go.
And Josh brought something. I don't know
I
what
brought
he brought.
stuff.
I didn't even look in the refrigerator yet.
Well, I'll show you what it is.
Oh, cool. That'll be fun. We'll do that next right here on 1620 The Zone.